One of the pre-reading things that we did was we defined our different vocabulary words. And so we have taken those words and I've made a word wall with those words. So these will be up the entire time that the students are reading the story. So they will be able to refer back to any of these. And then they also had to do the vocab sheets on their own. And so each student will have their vocab sheet out on their desk, so that they have the word, the picture, and the definition all with them on their desk while we are reading the story. This is a lesson that would normally take place over 2 days. So you will see the first half of the reading of the story. So there will be 2 places where we stop to do feelings, and there will be 2 places where we stop to do the summarize, predict, question, and connect. For this lesson, I'm going to pick up right in the middle of the lesson where we would have left off. When we got to this part of the day, the students would have a picture of Civil War up on the board, and we would be talking about that for the Engage Connect launch, and that would help the kids to kind of get into this unit. And then the other thing that we would have done before this is our predicting, and we would have gone through the book. We would have looked at the cover, we would have looked at the back cover, we would have looked at some of the pictures inside, and the students then would have had to make predictions, and we would have talked about what the story is going to be about. So we've already done all of that, and we're picking up the lesson at the point where I am starting to read the book. All right, thank you. When Sheldon Russell Curtis told this story to his daughter, Rosa, she kept every word in her heart and was to retell it many times over in her long lifetime. Sheldon had been injured in a fierce battle and was left for dead in a muddy, blood-soaked pasture somewhere in Georgia. He was a mere lad of 15. He lay there for 2 days, by his reckoning, only to slip into unconsciousness and fever. He was rescued from this field by another lad who had also been separated from his company. I will tell it in his own words as nearly as I can. I watched the sun edge towards the center of the sky above me. I was hurt real bad. For almost a year, I'd been in this man's war, the war between the states. Being just a lad, I was wishing I was home. My leg burned and was angry from the lead ball that was lodged in it just above my knee. I felt sleepy and everything would go black. Then I'd wake up again. I wanted to go back to our farm in Ohio, and sometimes when I'd fall into one of them strange sleeps, I'd be there with my ma, tasting bacon powder biscuits fresh out of her wood stove. Then I heard a voice. For a moment, I thought I was fever dreaming, but then I felt strong hands touch my brow and splash water in my face. All right. Being here, boy, means you gotta be dead, the voice said as he gave me a drink from his kit. Where you hit? 'Cause if it's a belly hit, I gotta leave you here, he said. I had never seen a man like him so close before. His skin was the color of polished mahogany. He was flying Union colors like me. My age, maybe. His voice was soothing, and his help was good. Hit in the leg, I said. Not bad if it don't go green. Can you put weight on it? He asked. He pulled me up to my feet. We gotta keep moving. If we stay in one spot, marauders will find us. They're riding drag and looking for wounded. All right, now I want you guys to pull out your sticky notes that I gave you. For those of you who need to look at your feeling words, you can. How do you think these 2 boys feel now that they have met each other? Do you think they are feeling good about this? Do you think they're feeling bad about this? What kind of feelings do you think that they have now that they've met each other? If you don't have one of these sheets, but you need help with some words, we have some feeling words up here that you can use one of our vocabulary words. One of the vocabulary words that we used is mahogany. So the one with the skin colored like mahogany, well, that's this one right here. All right? So his name is Pink. We'll find that out a little bit later. So if you want to say how he's feeling, I want you to put your sticky note right here under Pink. If you want to say how the other boy who's injured is feeling, I want you to put his feelings right here underneath say. Next thing I remember was collapsing in a heap on the ground and rocking with pain in my leg. Everything started to go black. Then I remember him pulling me up on his back. I heard him say, "Lord, have mercy, child. You as bad off as I am. I'll tote ya. I can't right leave you here." I remember being pulled and carried and stumbling. I remember hard branches snapping back in my face and mouths full of dirt as we hit the ground to keep from being seen. I remember slogging through streams, hauling up small bluffs, and belly crawling through dry fields. I remember these things half sleep-like, but I do remember being carried for a powerful long way. All right, now we're getting to our first summarize, question, predict, and connect. So right now, I want group 1 right here. You guys are going to summarize. Group 2, I want you guys to ask questions. Group 3 back there, I want you guys to predict what's going to happen next. And group 4 back there, I want you to connect this story to your life and how can the story relate to us. All right. Then fever must have took me good because I could feel a cool, sweet-smelling quilt next to my face. Soft, gentle, warm hands were stroking my head with a cool, wet rag cloth. "Look at that morning that's coming," a woman's voice said as she sponged oat porridge on me. "Do your mama know how beautiful a boy she has?" Who do we think that woman is? Well, let's look at this picture. Who do you think that is? Yeah, he took him to his house. So that's his mom. So the boy who found the injured took him home to take care of him. "Where am I? Is this heaven?" I asked. She tossed her head and laughed. "No, child. Pincus brung you home to me. Don't you remember?" Remember, this one is Pincus, okay? "The mahogany child," I thought. What does mahogany mean? Good, it's that dark brown, right? "Both you children been on the run for days. A miracle of God Almighty brung you both here. Yes, indeed, child, a miracle." I remember thinking, could this war have been so close to this lad's home? I couldn't imagine having a war right in his backyard. I looked over and saw him looking out the window light. "Guess you don't remember much," he said. "I'm Pincus Ailey. Fought with the 48th Colored. Found you after I got lost from my company. My name is Sheldon. Sheldon Curtis," I say weakly. "This is my mother, sweet Momo Bay," he say as he smiled at me. "Lord, Lord, I never thought I'd see my dear boy again," she said as she hugged him. "I've been getting along though, Pincus. Warm things got left in the big house with the family left. Dry goods too. The rest I've been getting from the woods. They's a freshwater spring. Still have some chickens. Even got an old cow out back that still gives." "Then you've been here all alone?" Pincus asked his mother. "Where is everybody?" "Your daddy runned off to fight a month ago. All the hands and their children runned off out of harm's way. But I stayed. I prayed to the Lord every day. My prayers were surely answered because he brought my baby back here to stay, he said. She said, as her face beamed. You ain't never going to leave your mama again, are you, child? She said softly. Pincus looked troubled and didn't answer. I'm going down to the stream and pound these clothes out of yours, she said as she readied to leave us. If you hear marauders coming, get for the root cellar door. Stay down there till they gone. That's what I've been doing. Marauders here? Pincus said with alarm. They've seen there's nothing here for them, child. Nothing. As soon as she left, Pincus sank to my bedside. Sheldon boy, he whispered, as soon as you heal up, we gotta get away from here. We are putting Momo Bay in great danger by being here. If they come and they find that she's been holding troopers, then his voice trailed off. We gotta get back to our outfits if we can find them. You mean go back to the war? I asked. I must have gone as pale as he went on to say, it's the only way, ain't it? Then he looked at me. Sheldon, you all right? You look bothered, he said as he eased me back. You can call me Say, I said. Everybody in my family calls me Say, not Sheldon. I suspect you're my family now. Near enough, Say, near enough, he said as he chucked the blanket under my feet. You can call me Pink, he said softly as he smiled. All right. Well, now Pink just mentioned going back to the war. How did Sheldon like that? How did Say feel about that? I want you guys now to decide, how do you think Pink and Say each feel about going back to the war? Again, you can use these feeling words, or you can use your feelings chart if you need to. But I want you to write on your sticky note and bring it up here and tell me how you think Pink or Say is feeling right now about going back to the war. All right, now that everyone's done, for the next week, Momo Bay fed us both up good. Raw milk and cornbread never tasted so good in all my born days. It were the first time in months my victuals didn't have any mealy worms in it. She saw to it that I tried to walk a little every day, so that mean-looking leg don't go stiff on you and get crippled up, she said. This place wasn't that much different from our farmhouse in Ohio. More poor, maybe, but it smelled the same, like pine boards and good cooking. A mess of beans with salt pork, cornbread, greens, and onions. When we slept, she sat near us, stoked the fire, and watched over us. Never thought I'd feel safe enough to sleep deep again. My mother and Kalo, my father, jumped the broom on this very spot, Pink said, as he walked me on my first day outdoors. And that there was Master's house. Master Ailey, Pink spoke quietly as he helped me along. How come you have his last name? I asked. Boy, when you owned, you ain't got no name of your own. Even Kalo had to take that name. As we rested under the willow tree, Pink asked me about my family back home. Got one brother still at home to help run the place for Pa, I answered. What was your outfit again? Pink asked. He'd asked me before. Ohio, 24th. I carried the staff. Wasn't supposed to carry a gun, but then so many died, even us boys had to carry after so many were slaughtered like hogs. Least you got to carry. In the 48th, we couldn't have guns at first. We fought with sticks and hammers and sledges. Can you imagine not trusting us with our own fight? What do you think that means, not trusting us with our own fight? Why is Say calling this his own fight? What do we know about the Civil War? Right, Say is a slave. And the whole point of the Civil War was to try and get rid of slavery. So Say and his other colored friends are the ones that are really wanting to not be slaves anymore. So really they're fighting for their own freedom. I couldn't imagine such a thing. Then when they did finally give us muskets, they were from the Mexican-American War. Those muskets jammed and misfired. Then how in God's name can you want to go back? I asked. 'Cause it's my fight, say. Ain't it yours too? If we don't fight, then who will? I had no answer for him, but God forgive me if I didn't ever want to go back to it. All right, our last thing for today, we're done reading the story for today. We're going to pick up where we left off tomorrow, but the last thing for today is we are going to do one more summarize, question, predict, and connect. So I want group 4 in the back over there. You guys are going to be summarizing this one. Group 1, you guys are going to handle the questions. Group 2, you are going to make predictions about what's happening next. And group 3, you get to find a way to connect what's just happened in the story to us.